All right, welcome back to another American-Statesman webcast. Rick, it's time for the second round of playoffs. Start off with Lake Travis. Over at Lake Travis, they have a bunch of volleyball going on this week with the state volleyball tournament and everything that the Lady Cavs are doing. But the football team has a pretty big game too. Smithson Valley. Lake Travis is a top-ranked team in the state. Smithson Valley is number 10. What do you see happening in this game, which will be played Friday night at the Alamo Dome?
Well, I don't know if I'll ever pick against Lake Travis because the day I do is the day that they're going to whip somebody and then blame me.
That's true.
I'm going to go with Lake Travis. I think the defense has not been heard from as much as the offense. Corbin Crow, Zach Struhling, they both have about 130 tackles apiece this year. They've been outstanding. Larry Hill's an outstanding coach at Smithson Valley, and they've scored 20 points in every game this year. Of course, they only have one loss, but all things being said, Lake Travis is still Lake Travis.
Yeah, Blake Burdett also over the 100-yard tackle mark for Lake Travis, and those three kids are going to play pretty well because Smithson Valley likes to run. Yeah. KG throw the ball, but they're going to have their hands full with that running game. But they got a pretty good preview with Cedar Park, and Cedar Park liking to run the ball a couple of weeks ago. And I just think Lake Travis, I don't think anything is stopping them, from winning another state championship. Talking about Lake Travis. If they're going to win a state championship, they're probably going to have to go through Cedar Park in a couple of weeks, assuming Cedar Park gets there. Cedar Park has to play Hayes this Friday, Burger Center. Hayes knocked out Smithson Valley a couple of weeks ago. Did they pull another upset?
I'm going with Hayes.
Oh.
They're the hot team. I know that you probably disagree, but Caleb Kimbrough, he's got 3,000 yards rushing and passing this year. I just think that there's just so much going on there. The new coach has finally got him playing his style of football. It's going to be a heck of a football game with those two quarterbacks, with Hogan and Kimbrough like that. I'm taking Hayes and upset.
We go to Cedar Park. I think the Cedar Park Lake Travis rematch is going to happen in a couple weeks. Defensively, Cedar Park's very good. They're always good. 3 shutouts this year. Last week they got a test. LBJ took them to halftime, tied. In those situations, you can either start panicking and freaking out, or you can get to work, and they got to work in the second half and just blew LBJ right into their offseason. So I think they're going to take the momentum from that second half, roll into this week. Brian Hogan, we all know about him and what he can do, and I just think they're going to do enough to be able to beat a Hayes team that has had a very good first season. Speaking of, we just talked about Cedar Park, LBJ, that close call. How about Wimberley and Taylor? Wimberley, the second-ranked team in the state. Taylor was 3-7 last week, and they took Wimberley to double overtime. Wimberley has Gonzales this week, an undefeated team. Is Wimberley going to survive?
Wimberley will survive, but Gonzales is a one-dimensional team. You heard it here first. They are run, 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 run. No pass, no pass, no pass. 0 yards passing last week, 280. They won 21-10 over Hondo, but they're just too well balanced to lose to a game like this to Gonzales.
Yeah, I think Wimberley got the snot scared out of them last week. I think they're going to have a great week of practice. I think they roll. Taylor was a run-first team last week, much like Gonzales, and I just think getting that scare out of them, I think they win this one by a couple scores. I don't even think it's going to be that close. Last game, we got Westwood, we got the Woodlands. Both teams are 10-1. This game's being played up in Waco. Does Ben Johnson and company, I know you saw him on last Friday, do they get it done?
Oh, they get it done. They've got a good trifecta with him and running back Anderson, wide receivers, and I like their opponent. Lance Miles has got 328 yards passing just last week alone. This could be a shootout, but Ben Johnson, it's hard to vote against him. I mean, he had 5 touchdowns last week. 10 victories is the most wins in the history of Westwood. Make it 11.
I think this is going to be a showdown of wide receivers. Desmond Wyatt, very fine receiver at Westwood. I think he has a chance to kind of establish himself as the best, one of the best, if not the best wide receivers this week. The Woodlands has a receiver that's gone to Oklahoma State. Lots of talent on that defense too. A couple D1 kids there. I think Ben Johnson, with the way he's able to throw it, with the way Wyatt is able to catch it, I say Westwood wins. But I think it's going to be a good, fun ball game.
Yep.
All right, those are our previews for the area round. Join us next week when we'll be talking about the third round.